Take away oxygen. Not slowly, all at once. The first thing that happens isn't suffocation, it's fire. Every flame on Earth, stoves, engines, power plants, flares violently for a fraction of a second as the last oxygen in the air burns off, then dies out completely. Within seconds, the sky changes color. No oxygen means no ozone layer holding steady. UV radiation starts hitting the surface raw. At the 1 minute mark, people start losing consciousness. Planes fall out of the sky mid-flight, their engines already dead. By minute 5, nothing that breathes is still standing. The oceans keep their oxygen a little longer. Down there for a few more hours, something is still alive. Everywhere else, the silence is immediate. Earth doesn't stop, like a wheel skidding to a halt. Everything on the surface is moving at up to 1,600 kilometers per hour with the spin. Stop the spin, and that momentum doesn't just disappear. Oceans keep moving. Continent-sized walls of water slam into coastlines that are suddenly standing still. Winds strong enough to strip forests bare tear across the surface as the atmosphere lags behind the crust. One hemisphere locks into permanent daylight. Temperatures there climb past what any known life can survive. The other side locks into endless night and starts freezing solid within weeks. The magnetic field, generated by the planet's spin, starts to falter. Whatever's left standing after the wind and the water has no protection left from what's coming from space. The field switching off wouldn't announce itself. No warning, no siren. Just a slow bleed of protection nobody notices until it's gone. Within hours, satellites start failing. Their electronics cooked by radiation the magnetic field used to deflect. GPS goes first. Communication networks follow. Solar particles that would normally skim off the field start hitting the atmosphere directly. Power grids overload from induced currents. Transformers burn out across entire continents at once. The night sky fills with auroras in places that have never seen one. A beautiful warning that something has already gone wrong. Cancer rates begin climbing within the year from unfiltered radiation exposure. Nobody knows exactly when the field would come back. It's happened before, in Earth's deep past. It's overdue to happen again. It wouldn't be visible until it was already close. A black hole doesn't reflect light. The first sign would be gravitational, not visual. Tides go wrong first. Ocean levels swing in patterns that don't match the moon or sun anymore. Seismographs worldwide start recording tremors with no epicenter, the crust flexing under a pull from somewhere else entirely. As it gets closer, Earth's orbit itself starts to bend. Days lengthen or shorten unpredictably. The moon's orbit destabilizes, and with it, the tides that have been stable for billions of years. If it passes close enough, the math gets simple and brutal. The planet is pulled off its stable path around the sun entirely. What that means for anything alive on the surface isn't survivable, and nobody would get much warning before it happened. Yellowstone sits on a magma chamber big enough to bury a continent. It's erupted at this scale before. The evidence is written into the rock. If it went again, the initial blast would kill everything within hundreds of miles almost instantly. But the real damage comes after. Ash columns rise over 30 miles into the sky, then start falling, a layer thick enough to collapse roofs, choke rivers, and bury crops across most of North America. The ash doesn't stay local. Within days it circles the globe, blocking enough sunlight to drop global temperatures for years. Scientists call it a volcanic winter, a decade or more where crops fail on a planetary scale. The last eruption of this size happened over 600,000 years ago. Geologists monitoring the caldera today can't say with certainty how much time is left before it happens again. The moon has been stabilizing Earth's tilt for over 4 billion years. Take it away, and that stability goes with it. Tides collapse first. Coastal ecosystems that depend on the twice-daily pull lose their rhythm within days. Fish and marine life that time their reproduction to lunar cycles start failing to breed at all. Over months, Earth's axial tilt begins to wobble without the moon's gravity holding it steady. Seasons stop being predictable. Some models suggest the tilt could swing wildly enough to trigger ice ages in some regions, while others bake. Nights turn absolute black for the first time in human history. No moonlight at all, ever again. Nocturnal predators that rely on it to hunt start disappearing from ecosystems already struggling to adjust to everything else falling apart. It starts exactly the way current warming trends already point. More heat, more evaporation, more greenhouse gas. The difference is where it stops. In this scenario, it doesn't. As oceans warm, they release more water vapor, which traps more heat, which warms the oceans further. It's a feedback loop with no natural break once it passes a certain threshold. Within centuries, ocean surfaces begin boiling away entirely. Surface temperatures climb past 400 degrees Celsius, hot enough to melt lead. The atmosphere thickens with carbon dioxide until it resembles something closer to Venus than the planet we know. This isn't pure fiction. It's the actual fate scientists predict for Earth billions of years from now, as the sun grows brighter with age. Some researchers argue human-driven warming could theoretically nudge the process, though on a vastly different timescale. Nuclear war doesn't end with the blasts. That's just the beginning. Firestorms from burning cities send soot and smoke high into the stratosphere, beyond where rain can wash it out. Within weeks, that smoke spreads to cover the entire globe, blocking sunlight everywhere, regardless of which countries were involved. Temperatures fall fast. Studies on the scenario estimate drops of 10 degrees Celsius or more across most of the planet, even in regions thousands of miles from any target. Growing seasons collapse. Crops fail on every continent at once. The famine that follows kills far more people than the initial blasts ever could. Models suggest the smoke could stay in the upper atmosphere for years, keeping the planet locked in an artificial winter long after the fires have gone out. 10-kilometer asteroid is roughly the size of the one that ended the dinosaurs. If one hit again, the first few seconds would release more energy than every nuclear weapon on Earth combined, detonated at once. The impact throws molten rock back into orbit, which then rains down worldwide as it re-enters, igniting firestorms on every continent within hours, whether or not they were anywhere near the impact site. Dust and debris block out the sun almost completely. Photosynthesis stops. Temperatures crash. This lasted years the last time it happened, and it erased most complex life on the planet. Astronomers currently track known large asteroids that could threaten Earth. None of the ones we know about are on a collision course. The ones we haven't found yet are the ones nobody can rule out. This one couldn't really happen. The sun doesn't have an off switch. But run the thought experiment anyway. Within hours of the light vanishing, surface temperatures start dropping fast. Photosynthesis stops immediately. Every plant on Earth begins starving at the base of the food chain. By day 2, temperatures have fallen far enough to threaten crops worldwide. Panic spreads faster than the cold does. Without sunlight, plankton populations, the base of the entire ocean food web, begin collapsing within days. If the sun somehow came back after a week, the damage wouldn't undo itself. Ecosystems that took a week to start collapsing would take years to recover, if they recovered at all.